Hey guys, welcome to another episode, and today we're going to be talking about my trip to FanExpo. I was able to scrounge up some money and make it to FanExpo on Sunday, which means I was able to play some games. Some games in early access. Speaking of Ratchet and Clank, Halo 5, Cuphead, and what was the other one I was able to play? There's one other one I was able to play. I'll remember it shortly. Oh yes! Zelda and StarFox Zero. So I'm going to talk about that a little bit. Starting off, let's talk about Ratchet and Clank, the new reboot of the old game. I was able to play one level, which was a remake of kind of like the city level you go through. I forget the name of it. But the city level you go through where you ride on the train, it was a remake of that level a little bit. And then there was also another boss fight that I saw someone else playing that I wasn't able to play. That I didn't choose to play. And it was a boss fight with a Snargle Beast. Now, the game's great. It looks amazing. It plays like Ratchet and Clank. There's such a formula for Ratchet and Clank. They really can't mess it up. And it feels great. It looks beautiful. It's definitely like... It looks amazing. Sadly, it's on PS4, so I probably won't be able to play it. But the weapons are great. There's you got your Mr. Zarkon, who I love. There's the Groovatron still. There's your standard blaster gun that, but in this game it shoots kind of slow. But like the longer you hold the button, the faster it shoots, which it kind of seems like. Another one that's like a rocket launcher that kind of like locks that just kind of shoots a missile, not too strong but is pretty strong still. You got your wrench. It's a remake of the first game. There isn't really too much to say other than it seems like it's going to be great, and it kind of has me a little bit more excited for the movie, but on the other hand I'm a little worried about the movie, so I'm just gonna keep my hopes up for the game because that's what I played. Next up I played Cuphead, which I didn't play for too long. I kind of just tried fighting a boss and then died. But the game's great. It feels like an awesome platformer. As everyone's noticed, the art style of Cuphead is amazing. It is the kind of boss rush game where you just fight bosses and it's all in the style of an old school, I want to say like 70s cartoon maybe? I don't know, like the old Mickey Mouse cartoons and stuff like that. It looks beautiful and it's really fun. The bosses are challenging. I wasn't able to beat the boss I was trying to beat, which was like this giant dragon in the sky who, when you start fighting him, he just kind of like blows like little kind of balls at you and you just kind of gotta dodge them. And then eventually he starts blowing like fireballs at you that like do this wave motion up and down the screen. And he like charges his tail up at you, which you can kind of see like at the bottom of the screen. It's like this, and you gotta kind of like jump out of the way and it'll be like I eventually died because the fireballs that go like this, when you get his health low enough, he starts doing two of them and they do like a fucking crazy thing, and I couldn't dodge it, so I got hit. You only have 3 hits before you die. So I died, which I enjoyed the game. It was a lot better than I thought it was going to be, which is great. I can see why a lot of people are hyped for that game. Next up is, let's talk about Zelda, the Triforce Heroes. I didn't really get a good experience with it because they had it set up at the convention as a 3-player experience. So I was playing and then 2 other people were also playing with me. They were like 10-year-olds or something. They didn't really know what they were doing, and they were kind of, by the end, fighting each other and throwing each other off the map. So yeah, those are things you can do in Triforce Heroes. If you hate the people you're playing with, you could pick them up and throw them off the map. I learned that very quickly. But it's a new experience. It's interesting for a Zelda game having to work as a team, and the totem pole is really used pretty well. It's used to kill enemies. There's a couple different places where you have to kill some Deku Scrubs that are high up, and you kind of totem up with your team and have the guy on top shoot him with an arrow. Or you use that same mechanic to shoot orbs to activate things and open up gates. You can't finish a level unless all 3 people are kind of standing on the Triforce. There's a lot of mechanics that revolve around the co-op experience, and it's really fun. Also, the emotes are great. I love the little Link with the pom-poms, and the more you click the button, the more he does the pom-poms. It's nothing I'm too crazy excited for. It was a fun game, but nothing too majestic. Let's move on to the last 2 games I was able to touch upon. Actually, you know what? Let's talk about some games I was able to see but not play. Battlefront. I was able to see Battlefront there. That game, it looks great. It looks fun. It doesn't look like the old games though. I wasn't able to touch it, play it, see how it feels, but it looks awesome. It has definitely that old style of the old TV movies with the AT-ATs and the other walkers going around, and you have to blow them up, and it looked like what they were playing was more of like a wave-based, not like a multiplayer, but a wave-based kind of kill as many enemies as you can gameplay, which looked cool. I'm excited for it, but on the same hand, I'm still a little bit worried about how it's going to turn out. I also got to see some, not Oculus, but whatever Sony's version of the Oculus was. There's some weird games that I don't even really remember, but the one that they did have was called like London Heist, and it had you driving in a car, and I was watching the person with their remotes and their glasses, and it looks so awesome because like she's shooting out the window with her gun, and then when you'd run out of ammo, you'd look down at like the glove box in your car while someone else is driving, obviously, and you would reach in and grab ammo and then actually reload your gun and then continue shooting. It looked awesome, but the line for it was just huge, so I did not want to wait to play it. There was also Assassin's Creed, the new one, Syndicate. I didn't really look into it. Not a huge Assassin's Creed guy. There was also Division, which the line for it was huge. And instead of playing it, I literally just got a beta code for it, so I will be playing the beta when it comes out. And if anyone's trying to see the beta code, I showed you this side, A, and B, I already redeemed it, so can't do that. But yeah, let's move on to the 2 game. Oh, I also saw Mario Maker. It's Mario Maker. You make Mario levels. It looks cool. I didn't really play it. Now, moving on to the 2 games that people are probably the most interested in. Halo 5 and StarFox Zero. Let's do Halo 5 first, since I feel like most of you are probably more excited about StarFox Zero. Halo 5 is amazing. I was able to play the Warzone game type, which is 12 on 12. And basically, it plays kind of like a match of domination. There are 5 bases you start off with. You don't have any of them captured, even your home base. You have to capture your home base. And basically, you start off, you spawn into the map, you land off of a ship, and there's enemies in your base, not like player enemies, but AI enemies. So for Prometheans or elites or Covenant or whatever. And you have to kill them and get them out of your base. Once you kill all of them and take your base back, you now have your base, and you start gaining points. I'm pretty sure it seemed like you were gaining points for the amount of bases you have. So you gain points for this base. And then you have to push out and capture more bases. So the more bases you have, the more points you gain. The more player enemies you kill, the more points you get. And also, every once in a while, you'll hear an announcement, and a marker will pop up on the screen, and it'll be like, enemy Covenant or enemy Prometheans coming in, and it shows up a marker where they're going to be spawning in, and you can run over there and kill them and get a certain amount of points for them. There's different tiers. There's like your standard regular elite tier, and then there's the high honor elite guards that'll come in, or crazy Promethean knights with like rocket launchers and stuff, or hunters will come in, and if you kill those higher tier guys, you will get more points for them. And these are not easy enemies. They are like at least heroic or legendary difficulty enemies, and they have shields. Like, even the regular elite guy, I went up to and I was like, oh, this will be easy. I'll just run up and get some extra points. So I run up to him with a shotgun, and I shoot him and then punch him, and he just hits me once, and I'm dead. I did take a little bit of damage before that, but, like, he just dominated me, and he still had shields after I shotgunned him and punched him. So the AIs that you'll be fighting are no pushovers. Definitely do not consider them pushovers. The main point of this is definitely controlling the center base is really good, because it allows where you respawn is only allocated to the bases you own. So if you own the center base of the map or the base next to the enemy base, you can literally spawn on top of the enemy or in the center of the map whenever you want, which is really nice. It gives you control. Another thing I'm not a huge fan of, which was in the beta, was I didn't really like the hover that they have, stabilizers. Basically, whenever you jump, if you're scoped in, you will float for a little bit, like maybe a second, second and a half, 2 seconds at max. I'm gonna guess it was kind of like a second and a half. You'll float in midair, and it's weird because it's like, if I'm scoped in and I jump, I don't really want to float in midair. I don't know if there's a way to toggle it or what, but I wasn't a huge fan of it. Also, being able to float midair with the sniper is a little bit overpowered. It gives you way too many good viewpoints. So that's something that I'll have to look into when the game comes out, but as of right now, stabilizers are something I'm not a huge fan of. But the game type, Warzone, feels amazing. Seeing all of these enemy AIs go around, and all of the player, like 12 on 12 is a lot, so seeing all the players fighting, it's awesome. It also seems like each home base has a core. Like, I went to the enemy home base and there was a core symbol, so I'm assuming if you capture all the bases, you're able to get to the enemy base. And maybe my camera stopped recording because I can only record for like 10 minutes or something. It seemed like if you can get to the enemy base, they have a core that you can get to and then destroy. So I'm not sure, but maybe if you capture all the bases and then get to their base, because when I tried to get to their base, there were like shields up. So maybe if you capture all 4 bases, then their shields go down and you can like capture their base and destroy their core, which would be cool. I would love that. It'd be a fast way to end like kind of a very uneven game, instead of having the enemy team just kind of getting dominated the whole time until the points kind of get to where they're supposed to be. On top of that, the other interesting thing is that you can purchase weapons. I'm not really sure what the energy is dependent on. It seems like it was slowly regenerating as time went by, or it was slowly regenerating as you got points. Also, you only unlock a certain amount of points throughout the game. I don't know if it's dependent on what your score is in the game, but basically you start off with like 0 points, and then you get 3 points, and then 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 or whatever. I think it went up to 8 maybe. I don't know what determines when you unlock these points, if it's like what your score is, or if it's just whatever time it is in the match. But from what I can understand, you unlock these points and you can use them to purchase things, and either as you get more kills in the match or as time goes by, your points will regenerate. So basically you can buy weapons, so you can buy a carbine for like 2 points, or a bolt shot, or an energy sword, and as you get more points, you can buy more things. So if you have like 8 points, you can buy a rocket launcher or a Spartan laser or a sniper rifle. Those are kind of like the top tier weapons you can buy. But below that, you got your shotgun, you got your carbine. I found it weird that you couldn't buy a BR or a DMR. They were on the map somewhere. I couldn't find them, but I would kill people and they would have them. So they're on the map somewhere. I just don't know where. I obviously don't know the map well enough, but it was a really fun map for the game type. On top of that, It's cool that you can buy weapons. I really like that. Plus, whenever you take over a base, Marines will spawn in and they'll help protect your base, like random AI Marines, which is really cool. I wasn't a huge fan of how the enemy, like, I wanted to see more AI enemies kind of like roaming the map, but like when the enemy AIs spawn in, they kind of spawn in a specific area and then don't leave that area. So they don't really kind of like circulate around the map. You don't see them around the map unless you go to that specific area where it says they're going to be. Okay, that's kind of really it though. It was a great experience. I loved it, and I cannot wait to play it more. Moving on to StarFox Zero. It's amazing. It's everything I wanted in a new StarFox game. It plays like StarFox 64, which everyone wants. It looks beautiful. It controls weird. To be truthful, the controls are something you are going to have to get used to. Basically, how it controls is you can use the analog sticks to move around on the TV screen and aim on the TV screen. But on the other hand, you can use the gamepad to also aim. Like gyro controls, kind of like in Splatoon. And if you aim all the way to the right, you'll look out your right window and you can shoot like to the right, or you can turn left and look out the left window and shoot to the left. But in your gamepad, you're looking out of the cockpit. So you can be like flying on the TV in straight and then turn to the right on the gamepad and shoot whatever's to the right of you. It's really weird to get used to, especially in the free range mode, where you kind of have where you're flying around anywhere and you're not on a linear path. There's one part where there's spiders that are crawling and they're trying to get to a tower to attack someone, and you have to shoot the top of the spider because that's its weak point. So you kind of have to like fly towards it and then use the gyro controls to like aim down at it. But I found points where like it was hard to shoot it because like I tried to aim down, but it wouldn't let me aim down far enough, so I'd have to loop around again and like try to shoot it again. But like it was weird to get used to. By the end, I was starting to get used to it more, and it was definitely really fun. The standard flying around shooting people, it's great. You pull the trigger multiple times, and you just shoot if you're pulling the trigger, your lasers. But if you hold it, you'll lock on. You'll lock onto a target, and you'll shoot out a missile, and it'll blow up. It seemed like if there were more than one target on the screen, you'd lock onto multiple, but I can't really tell because it was kind of... Sorry about that. Another issue with the camera. So yeah, it was weird in the way it locked on. It's probably just because I wasn't used to it, but in your standard flying, like your rail shooter mode, it was really fun. Controls were great. It played really well. And the ability to you press, I think it was X, and you just transform instantly into a walker, which was also fun. I loved like kind of like shooting guys in the air and then transforming into the walker and just walking around and killing all the stuff on the ground. And if you hold forward on the right stick, you'd either do a boost if you're in the airplane, or you'd sprint really fast if you're in the walker. And then if you hold back, you would slow down if you're in the airplane. But if you were in the walker, you would hover into the air and you'd be able to fly around a bit, which it was really cool being able to do that. I loved it. It felt so good. So basically they took you through, there were 2 levels. I was only able to play one, and I didn't see the second one. I wasn't able to see it. But it was Corneria, the one I was able to play, and it looked beautiful. It was just like the regular Corneria in StarFox 64. It played amazing. You can fly through all of the thing, like all of the anchored. You can fly through the arcs and get your rings and your power-ups and shoot all the enemies and protect Falco and Fox and all those guys, and then eventually you get to a free range mode where you have to protect someone inside of a tower and shoot spider things that are crawling out and trying to get to the tower and crawl up it. And then as soon as that's done, this giant airship comes in and you fly up into the air, and you're on all range mode still, and you have to fly around the tower and shoot off all of its like weak points to kind of make it explode. So that was cool because that was like a really good mission where you can kind of like fly around it in a circle while aiming out of the right side and kind of shooting it. So you're like strafing around it while also aiming out of the right of your cockpit and shooting the turrets like its weak spots. It was awesome. I loved every second of it. It was definitely, it's definitely got me hyped for StarFox Zero, and I cannot wait for it to come out. And that's about it, guys. If you have any more questions that I might be able to possibly answer, I was able to talk to some of the devs of Halo 5 and ask them a few questions. So if you have any questions, feel free to post them in the comments below. Besides that, that's kind of it. All right, I will see you all in the next video. Have a good day.